Hi, today I'm going to share 12 Lightroom secrets. Some that you may know about, some that you might not. Either way, these should save you time and hopefully make your post-processing easier and potentially better. Adobe Lightroom Classic is a brilliant program, but it is really badly documented in my opinion. There are so many features, so many functions that are not documented at all, or if they are, you just have to search the web rather than them being intuitive within the software. So over the years I've discovered some of these secrets, and these are the things that I use on a day-to-day basis processing landscape photography images. You might know some of these, but I'll whiz through them, so get ready on the pause and rewind button if you want to sort of revisit or slow it down. So I'm going to try and keep it really fast-paced, so forgive me if I don't cover them in too much detail. I will be doing in-depth tutorials in some of the features of Lightroom soon. So watch this space for those. Right, so first up, some very quick keyboard shortcuts. As you can see, we're in the library at the moment in the grid view. To come back to that at any point, press G and that takes you to that screen. If you want to go to the develop module, press D for develop, and that will take you through into the develop module. Obviously G takes you back. Go into the develop, L, press L and it will turn the lights off. It goes into two stages, so you've got sort of semi-dark, completely dark, and then back to fully light. Another useful key is the overlay. So if we go into the crop mode, if you press the overlay OK, it will change the grid layout within that. So you've got the thirds, you've got diagonals, quarters, strange one, and the golden ratio one. So the overlay key is very useful. So if we go back to the grid view, if you press E, it will just enlarge that in the library module. So back to that. Okay. So as you can see on this, we've got some of the menus are there, some of the menus aren't there. So you can quite easily take some of the toolbars and the tips off. So press T and it gets rid of the toolbar at the bottom, gives you a bit more space to work with. Press T again, it brings it back. So very, very simple. Another useful thing is F5 gets rid of the top menu, again gives you more space, and F6 brings in the film strip at the bottom. F6 again to get rid of it. So that's easy peasy. Okay, so on to the main secrets. A lot of people edit on laptops, so space on the screen is the biggest issue. So just pressing the tab key switches off the menus left and right altogether, so it just gives you a much bigger image to work with. Press tab again, brings them back. That's easy. That's secret number one. Secret number two is solo mode. So as you can see on the right hand side in the develop module, I've got all these various control panel things added in there, and to find them on a laptop screen is very difficult and you have to do a lot of scrolling. So if you right click on the top here and go into solo mode, it will just have the one that you're working within available. So again, if I went into the tone curve, it will close down the basic one. Just makes it a lot easier to keep what's on the screen sort of there and visible without having to scroll down through loads of functions. Okay, that's That's secret number 2. Secret number 3, make the sliders wider. As standard, when Lightroom gives you these panels in Develop module, these sliders are quite narrow. So if you just click and drag on the edge of this box here, which is quite difficult to find sometimes, you can just slide this out, make these sliders much wider, gives you a lot more to work with. Secret number 4. Let's say we're doing some edits on this, you know, we're changing various things, adding various things. If you wanted to reset any of the values, just double click on it, double click on the word, and it will get rid of it. So it'll just reset it back to as it was. Okay, secret number 5. To set the whites and the blacks, very easy. Press shift and then double click on the word whites, and it will set the white point at the top here so that it just touches the edge of the histogram. You can do the same on the blacks. Press shift and double click on blacks, and it will drag down the blacks in the histogram, give you the full range of the histogram. Sometimes this works really well. I think on this particular image it's got a little bit too far, lost some of the essence of the image, but you know, you can also use that for the highlights. You know, if you double click on those, it will bring down the highlights, bring up the shadows, pretty much as you would process normally anyway with landscape photography shots. So it's quite an interesting first step, just to see what the computer, what Adobe's software engineers have said that image should look like. Quite interested. If you're not too sure on the processing yourself, press shift, double click on the words, and it will come up with a recommendation for what it thinks. Okay, so you've made loads of changes, you hate the image, and we come on to secret number 6 here. If you press the Alt key, you'll see on these panels it will add in the word sort of reset the panel. So Alt and click on that, it will just reset all those sliders to 0. Very simple. Okay, gradient filters, secret number 7. Have you ever tried putting a gradient filter on and trying to get it level? It's really difficult to do it. You try and adjust it with the level here, and then it goes too far. If instead of that, if you just press the shift key and click and drag, it will bring in a gradient that is absolutely level. Going back to the keystrokes, if you press the O key at this point, when you've got a filter in there, it will highlight the part of the screen that the filter is being applied to. So if I press O there, it will show in red on the screen this area here, so the filter that I'm putting in here is being applied to the sky. If you wanted to do a similar sort of filter at the bottom of the screen, the easiest way to do it, rather than try and twist this round, and then you come issues of trying to get it level again, the easiest way, just press the apostrophe key and it'll invert it. Easy as. Right, secret number 9. Gradient filter again. So if we come on to gradient filter, let's say for example I want to darken this sky down. If I press shift and drag that down, you'll just see that the filter's being applied to the sky to darken the sky down, but it's also being applied over this cliff, over the lovely cliff. So I could go down and go into the tools, change it to brush and whatever, and erase that, or put up with it, or try and bring that back up in another way. But if you just press shift and T, it will change that gradient tool to the adjustment brush, and I could paint in some more filter effect, or using the Alt key, hold down the Alt key, and that will change that to an eraser tool. So just by clicking and dragging, still hold the Alt key down, and it will remove that filter from that cliff top. Down here, make sure this is set to auto mask, and let's get rid of the feather in this example, and it will do a really good job of following the edge of that cliff. Obviously in your own time you'll be able to do that much more precise. While it's in the filter things, you know, it's a good point to bring in the secret number 10. So if you're finding you're struggling to see that, if you press Control plus, it will enlarge the image for you. Press Shift, spacebar, and then click and drag the image down. You can then see it a lot more clearly. So we're still holding the Alt key down, clicking and dragging the mouse, and it's just getting rid of the filter off all of those areas. I've got to press the Alt key. Wonderful job. So press O to get rid of the overlay, and there you see the filters just being applied to the sky. So that was secret 10 as well, with the Control plus and minus to make it bigger or smaller. So we're back on to secret number 11. So who uses the spot removal tool? Right, this tool up here, if you click on that, it's useful for getting rid of bits that you don't want in the image, but if you press the A key, it will toggle it into alpha mode. Oh, I don't want to soft preview that. So you can use that to see any dust spots on the image. Or little burnt pixels, which sometimes happen on long exposure shots. Let's see if there's any in here. Don't think there is, but let's say there was. We could quite easily just find them on here and click, and they're gone. Okay, secret number 12, and the final one. You've done all your modifications, your processing, you love the image. It's time to sharpen it, make it ready for the wider world. So normally most people just use this slider at the top here, and that sharpens it, and you can see the effect of that when I zoom in. But it also has the unfortunate artifact of sharpening the noise within the image as well, in areas that you don't want it to. So this masking tool is useful because it gives you the ability to decide what you want sharpened. So you can play around with that, but because it's kind of not quite a real-time view of what it's sharpening, it's difficult to see what it's doing. If you press the Alt key, it gives you a lot more information. So again, we're clicking on that masking slider. White areas, it's applying the mask or the sharpening to. So as you can see, it's sharpening bits of the sky that we just don't need sharpening. So just move that along so that it's sharpening just the parts of the image that you want it to sharpen. So obviously we want the grass and the steps and the details in the cliff face visible, but we don't want the sky to be over sharpened. So, and that will do it. Again, if we click in there, you can see that's lovely and sharp. Got some beautiful detail in the grass in the foreground. Lovely, super. So that's the end of the 12 secrets. I hope some of those were useful. If you knew all of them, well done. If you didn't know them all, rewind, try them for yourself. But I think you'll agree after you've got used to using them that it will save you time and it will make it easier to process. I will be doing some in-depth tutorials on the various parts of Lightroom, including the luminance masks within the filters, which I use a lot of. So stay tuned for those, or subscribe to the channel and you'll get notifications for when they come out. But in the meantime, until next time, I'll see you soon. Thank you.